I don't know, man. The Broncos, they need some more respect, in my opinion, because you don't see teams turn it around like this. You don't see teams start 1-5 and the whole fan base preaching, fire everybody, trade this guy, being sellers at the trade deadline to what we are now, 6-5, and because Buffalo just lost, so we're the ninth seed. We're right behind Houston. If we win next week and the Colts lose next week, do people not understand that the Broncos are going to be in the playoffs? We're going to be the 7th seed. If we beat Houston next week and the Colts lose, we are in the playoffs. That is ridiculous.
Welcome back to another episode of the Broncos Avenue Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Amir Farrell, with my co-hosts JMack and Jordan Lopez. Man, it is great to see another Broncos win on the schedule. The Broncos have won 5 in a row, have defeated the Cleveland Browns by a score of 29-12, very dominant fashion. A great fourth quarter, great first quarter, lots to take away from today's game. Lots of Browns fans that chirped in our comment section on our game preview. You guys aren't saying jack shit now. Would you look at that? That's funny. Everything that you guys said went the opposite way, and everything that me and Jordan said exactly happened. So that isn't that funny? That's kind of funny. Just wanted to throw that out there, and we're gonna keep taking more shots at you, just like you did in our comment section. But with that being said, JMack, Jordan, how are you guys doing, man? 5 in a row. The Broncos are above 500.
I'm doing good. I mean, I can't really complain. I'm just kind of shocked that we're still on this winning streak right now. But I wasn't surprised that we won today. But I'm doing great.
Sean Payton masterclass. It just feels great to have a Hall of Fame head coach. It really does.
Absolutely, he made such a big difference today. I mean, we're going to talk about a lot of good on today's game, and then not a lot of bad at all, because there's really not a lot to talk about today at all for anything that went bad. I mean, let's just go and start talking about some of the big reasons the Broncos won today's game. I just want to give some little shout outs to Mike Purcell, Courtland, Sutton, who had really big first halves. Mike Purcell prevented a touchdown, forced a field goal for the Broncos at that PBU. Courtland Sutton makes some big plays today. Was getting open consistently, not always getting his targets, but when he does get his targets, he's making plays. Obviously, there's that one touchdown where it's a little bit high and he wasn't able to catch it. But man, he still played a really good game today. Leads the team in receiving yards for multiple weeks in a row now. Big game on his part. The defense, though, man, just another game. It's like at this point, I don't even know if I can say they're gonna slow down. This is now like 4 or 5 weeks in a row with at least 3 takeaways. Like, when are they gonna stop? For the love of God, I'm knocking on wood. I hope they don't. But man, another 3 takeaways today. 4 sacks, 7 QB hits, 5 forced fumbles, 4 pass breakups, multiple, getting off the field on third down. Like, it's just masterclass. Vance Joseph, Sean Payton, Russell Wilson was making it look like vintage Russ out there some plays today. I mean, it's just beautiful. The play calling was just excellent. What I loved most in that first quarter was this run. Like, some people may get mad about that, but man, Sean Payton was making it very, very, very like focal to Jim Schwartz that he's going to be pounding the rock at a premium in this game, and there's no way they're going to stop it. I mean, the Broncos in rushing today, they picked up a total of 169 yards. That is a season high for a run-first team against the 11th-ranked run defense. All the Browns fans are telling me, oh, you guys are underestimating the Browns defense. Oh, the Browns defense is way better than you guys give it credit for. We said multiple times it's the best defense in the league, but clearly today it was not the fucking best defense in the league, because we absolutely put the hammer down on you guys. I'm sorry, Browns fans. You guys little too chirpy. You talking with a 7-3 record when it's it's a fraudulent record. I mean, we just handed it to you guys today. 17-point dub. I mean, this was, in my opinion, like one of our most impressive wins, because it's not even like the offense needed the 3 takeaways. Like, they still played really dominant. It wasn't like constant 3 and outs, punting every possession. Like, we saw massive improvements this week against the best defense in football. I mean, Jim Schwartz was kind of lost, like, what to do, how to respond to Sean Payton's offense.
I would have to agree with the defense. I mean, just talk about, again, setting the tone, taking the ball away. But real quick, I do want to give a shout out to DTR. He played better than I thought he was. I thought he was going to make a ton of mistakes. It was some plays that I thought he made some really good throws, and that kind of shocked me. But the defense overall, man, I mean, the Browns low-key beat themselves, but the Broncos just I feel like the defense just isn't getting enough credit as much. If this was any of a team like Kansas City or Philadelphia turning, having takeaways like this many, that high of a number, I feel like you see it on ESPN, all these networks constantly. His defense is just balling. And it starts in the secondary. The secondary is just playing. It's ridiculous. Like you saw the Buffalo, Kansas City. I mean, no premier receiver has gone off. You really haven't seen quarterbacks play an outstanding game against us during this run. I mean, Jordan tweeted today, the pass rush has been it's been a little bit non-existent. They picked it up later in the game, but moving forward, I don't know how guys are you're gonna have to throw the ball to beat us. And the way the secondary is playing with McMillan, Moreau, and Surtain back there, and these corners and these safeties, PJ Locke too. I want to give a huge shout out to PJ Locke. What a game he had, and we talked about how much we needed him. And with another Kareem suspension, I mean, just all over the field today. Had I think how many tackles he had?
7
tackles. I mean, I saw he had a pass breakup, and he had the game sealing strip sack. I mean, he's all over the field making plays. Huge shout out to the defense. It's really no complaints all around today. I mean, the offense really hit their stride too. So.
Yeah, hopefully the NFL doesn't suspend PJ Locke for the rest of the season on that unnecessary roughness call. The way the league has been judging these calls, but for me, it's the offense. It was the run game, at least for me. Sean Payton, that run game today was magnificent. Just absolutely like dialing it up. Russ had some really good checks at the line, and you even saw Russ even running a bit today too. Even after he fumbled, which was a terrible fumble, Sean Payton, the very next drive, ran him 3 straight times, got a touchdown out of it too. I mean, everything about today was perfect, and it just shows again why a head coach makes such a difference, because Sean Payton ran laps around Kevin Stefanski today, and it was not even close.
Bro, his play calling today, my goodness, that was bad. That was really bad. Yeah, the only 2 critiques I would give the team today was that bad Russ fumble. Obviously, there's some throws they threw to Javonte that were a little bit bad, but like overall, man, this is another good performance by Russell Wilson. I don't care if it's only 134 yards. He executed what Sean Payton put out on the script for him in that first quarter, and then took off with it. Like what we said in the game preview, the Browns have the 3rd worst defense in football in the first quarter. Get off to a good start, protect the lead running the football. It's exactly what they did, and the defense just helped out, complimenting with 3 takeaways, and they just played lights down in the fourth quarter. Like that PJ Walker could not do crap. I mean, everybody talking about, oh, you guys only won because I saw someone say that you guys only won because DTR. Let's be honest, dude. Like, really, his first career road star, like, he's really going to go out and win that game, especially with the way our defense is playing, getting hot. Like, you're not convincing me that their offense is pretty bad. It's a reason why they're not even better than 7-4. But yeah, those are the only things that hit by PJ. Obviously questionable by the refs, but overall that was unnecessary, if we're being completely honest. That was not needed. He basically gave the Browns free 6 points there. But man, besides that, we still won by 17. Huge game. PJ Locke, DJ Jones, I thought had a really good game as well. The dude's like over 300 pounds, flying sideline to sideline. He literally is looking like Drew Sanders at nose tackle. Like this should not be allowed at his position, and he's looking like an insane athlete. Like he deserves the contract, and he might honestly get a second contract from the Broncos after next season. But man, he obviously had a fumble recovery from that little trick play by the Browns that didn't work out. I mean, he from sideline to sideline, being an interior nose tackle, like I said, it's ridiculous what he's doing on the football field.
Yeah, and I do want to give a huge shout out to the offensive line today. Myles Garrett, I didn't hear his name pretty much get called all day. I think he had one big play, and that came when the game, of course, is basically over. Huge shout out. I mean, you talked about the run game. To me, this was the best game we've had running the football. And I'm not even just saying from a yard standpoint. It was just the consistency of it. I mean, we had a big play with Javonte get called back off of another atrocious call from the refs that Courtland Sutton, quote-unquote, hold. It was terrible. I mean, it was just the hold wasn't even there. We should have had more yards with that. But Samaje Perine and Javonte Williams, we know they're kind of the same back, but just the 1-2 punch is just, I mean, it's really ridiculous. You can't really tackle them. They're both physical. They run low to the ground. I mean, just Sean Payton really dialed it up today. The Browns had no answer for us. I mean, that's just what it is. I know Myles Garrett was kind of limping on and off the field, but still, this guy's most likely going to win Defensive Player of the Year. And he was non-existent today. Didn't really make any big, huge plays. And it was also a good shot. And Sean Payton, he got the ball out quick. He didn't really give him a chance for us to stay in the pocket and allow Myles Garrett to get him. I know the one play I think he did have a chance to get Russ. Russ outran him and picked up the first down. Yeah, I mean, huge shout out to the offensive line today. Huge.
I mean, Amir and I talked about it in the preview, how we need to win the time of possession battle. We had 32 minutes of possession. The Browns had 27. That's perfect. It would have been a lot more, but at the end, it was just quick 3 and outs just to get the game over with. But at the end of the day, the Denver Broncos had 39 rushing attempts, 39 carries for the whole game, and the Browns had 24. You would think that Kevin Stefanski would run the ball 39 times with a backup quarterback and then a third-string quarterback, but no. It was Payton understanding who he has, how to manage his guys, and how to win the game. And that is the biggest difference going forward this season. It's going to be Sean Payton versus now we have DeMeco Ryans next, and then now we have a whole bunch of other coaches next. But this is going to be the biggest difference going forward is Sean Payton. He understands how to win games. He knows what to do, play calling wise, everything about it. And you can tell he has his fingerprints on the defense a bit. And I would like to believe, and obviously we don't know if this is true, but a little theory of mine would be when the Broncos offense was struggling a few weeks ago and they had those inconsistent lapses, but the defense were buzzing. I believe that's because Payne was more hands-on with the defense a bit. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, now I think both of them are kind of, playing complementary football. So, again, I know I kind of harped on the pass rush not being good today against the Browns, but we can spin that to a positive and say once this pass rush does get going, this defense is going to be really, really good. Because if they're not playing how they are now, I can only imagine when Bonito, Cooper, even Baron Browning, we saw Drew Sanders a bit. When those guys get going, this defense is going to take another step forward.
Yeah, how about Drew Sanders? They had him in like the first series, and he actually played like every quarter today. It was good to see him out there rushing the passer, getting a little bit of pressure. Obviously, he's really raw to it, just like Baron Browning when he first started off over the middle, and then the Broncos transitioned to the edge, and now he's playing really well as well. Yeah. Also, obviously that Baron Browning, roughing the passer, whatever you want to call it, unnecessary roughness. It was a legal hit. I mean, it looked rough, like live speed, obviously, but of course that's what the refs see. They're not going to take a look at the replay and actually, take that back. But just questionable overall by the refs today. And then, going back to JMack about the pass protection. Yeah, pass protection, beautiful today. I mean, that Russ touchdown and Adam Trotman, he had like probably 10 seconds to make that play. I mean, there was so much time back there. He had one of the defenders like on his skates too. I mean, it was a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and going back to that touchdown you just talked about, with just Russ, I don't think it's too many quarterbacks in the league that can make that play consistently like how Russ has been doing as of late. I mean, rolling out that's still a tough throw, but what a tough catch by Troutman. But all in all, the offense, I will say this. I think they played a really good game, and I know Jordan's going to agree with me on this. I want to see a little bit more Jerry Jeudy. I wanted to see a little bit more Jerry Jeudy today. But I will say, Courtland Sutton, like you brought up earlier, it seems like every time they're giving him the ball, he's just making some catch. And some crazy catch. And, again, with the refs, the offensive pass interference. I don't know what y'all thought about it. I didn't really think it was offensive pass interference. I don't know what you guys thought about it. But
it wasn't.
Yeah, I didn't think it was either, and that took away a big play. But Courtland Sutton's really coming along. I mean, he's during this stretch, he's a clear-cut number one, and I don't know, depending on how we finish the season, I know we talked about him getting traded or not being on his team next year. I don't think that's the case. I think definitely, depending on how the season does end, I think Courtland Sutton's going to be back for sure. For sure.
Yeah, that offensive pass interference call was, I mean, we've seen way worse not get called, so I was very surprised on that. But yeah, of course. I mean, I was not surprised that Jeudy did not get any targets or catches. I mean, nothing phases me at this point. A 2018 Balentikoff Award winner doesn't get the ball. It's pretty remarkable. It really is.
Yeah, he had two catches, 3 targets for him today. Obviously, you would like to see him get a little bit more inclusion in the offense. I think what's so special about this team, and you talk about Sutton being a wide receiver 1, I think Jeudy is as well. But what's so special about this team is I just have to like bring it back to my Denver Nuggets last season, where every player is playing their own roles and accepting. Like, it's not about just, oh yeah, I'm that guy, or I'm that. Like, everybody's accepting their roles, because you saw, like, I'm not gonna lie, I saw Jeudy not throwing tantrums, but like getting frustrated on the sidelines at the beginning of the season, or seeing whoever it is, like seeing players getting frustrated about their roles or like their lack of targets or whatever. And then you have Marvin Mims recently, who just joked about it, and it's fine. He's fine with it, man. He just wants to win football games, even though he's a rookie. Like, guys are accepting their roles, and that's a big effect, and cause and effect from Sean Payton. Yeah, bring him in here, because I promise you, if Nathaniel Hackett was here, Melvin Gordon would still be complaining in his office right now, getting at least 5 more carries a game, just because he complained in his office about all that. Like, what I'm getting at is just like, players they know their roles, and they're accepting their roles, even if it doesn't mean that they're getting 10 targets per game like a Justin Jefferson or a Tyreek Hill. Like, it is so important, because when you find your identity, you have to stick to your identity. And that means that it's not always going to be an alpha, or it's not always going to be, a certain guy in the run game that's always getting the carries. Like, it's a Javonte, a Jalil, a Samaje. Like, Samaje was more included in the offense today because he had a big game the previous week against the Vikings. And then now, over our winning streak, Jerry Jeudy's only averaging like 3 targets a game, but the Broncos are winning pretty convincingly. So, like, it sucks that he's not getting all the love. But honestly, I'm more happy that we're just winning football games instead of Jerry Jeudy not always getting all the targets, just because I feel like these players accepting their roles is far more important. But if we can win even better because of Jerry Jeudy getting more targets, which I think could be, it could be part of this offense. I'm just not, too worried or, mad about it. But at the end of the day, I do think that's important to note.
Yeah, no, I agree. And if you watch, like, I agree. I just want to see Jerry Jeudy ball. That's just me. That's just the fan of me speaking. But I will say, I mean, this offense, they kind of spread the ball around a lot more than a lot of people look at the box scoring thing. I mean, it's a lot of throws to the running backs. Courtland Sutton's like the main guy, the wide receiver who gets most of the targets. But today you saw Mims get the ball. Lil Jordan Humphrey had some catches. So, I mean, Sean Payton's spreading the ball around more. I think he's realized that this isn't the type of offense where, like you said, it needs to be an alpha. Like, we just need to give Courtland Sutton the ball 12 to 13 times a game, like most teams in the league do. Like you see Buffalo do with Diggs, or the Vikings do with Jettas. I think he knows that this offense, the ball needs to get spread around just a lot more.
It was like MT with New Orleans.
Yeah. JMack, if you want to see Jeudy ball, you're going to have to wait till next year till when he's on another team, because it's not going to happen on this team, unfortunately. But yeah, at least he got his cardio in, though. So, I mean, got to go work out in every once in a while. Should do you some favors. But yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on that. But since we won, I'll keep it light here. But yeah, people will not be happy with me later tonight if I do pop off on Twitter.
We're going to talk a little bit about this in the offseason, about Josey Jewell's contract, but he played well. He played really, really, really well today. A sack, obviously it was a forced fumble, but Broncos weren't able to jump on it. 3 tackles, just flying around the field. The defense was playing with a lot of attitude under Vance Joseph today. I was so happy to see on the sidelines, like him getting riled up with the players and stuff, like getting hyped. So that was so cool for me to see. But like in the terms of future for Josey Jewell, like he's by far our best linebacker right now. And now Drew Sanders is moving to edge, and there's still a few plays today where Alex Singleton missed like a tackle or two. Like, do you think at this point the Broncos in my opinion, I think they have to re-sign Josey Jewell again?
Yeah, he's our best linebacker. And I think I said that in the last episode too, that he's been just consistently the best linebacker. Alex Singleton, he's not playing bad football, just the missed tackles, man. It's gonna one of these games is gonna be a really bad missed tackle. And I hope it doesn't cost us the game. But I mean, Josey Jewell has been consistent in coverage. He's been really good, and also just tackling in general. And that's just an area of the team that still is kind of shaky. And Alex Singleton's a big part of that. But I mean, I can't really complain when the linebacker's flying all over the field, making tackles, doing well in coverage, and he's causing turnovers too. I don't think he caused one today, but during this stretch, he's caused a couple of them. So most definitely, I would say extend them.
I've always liked Josey Jewell and just that linebacker crew in general. It's just since we were losing in the earlier part of the season, not everyone liked them. But now that we're winning, everybody has a good feeling about him. But I hope Josey's on this team for a while. So again, he played good. I think others on the linebacker crew played well as well. But I know Singleton had a shaky game, but still, I thought he did what he had to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Cornerback Fabian Moreau as well. Another week that we're not hearing his name called at all. And like I said last week, that's a good thing. You don't want to hear your guy constantly getting beat up on like Damari Mathis was, and he's taken over in a big way and played very, very, very astounding. Same thing with him. Do you guys think the Broncos at this point they're gonna wait till obviously after the season, but like, do you think if he keeps playing like this, the Broncos just like re-sign him and he's that guy beside PS2?
I would say they bring him back, but I don't know if they're gonna make him like the long-term solution.
Probably a cheap deal, probably be most ideal, right?
It'll be like a brought back thing for depth purposes. I think depending on what they do in the offseason, if they want to go after a premier cornerback too, I think they'll do it. I think that he can be a good depth piece, but he's playing extremely well. Now I'm not saying that that's how the way he's playing. He's playing he's playing at a really great level, like really good level. But in terms of them, what they're gonna do, I don't know how old he is. How old is Fabian Moreau? Do you know?
I'm gonna have to look it up and edit this. I was literally gonna look it up like during your point, but I was thinking about something else. He's 29, yeah. So
Okay,
that's what I was.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah. So I mean, he's 29. So I don't know if they're gonna go strictly and just lock him up for like a little bit like maybe a 3-year deal. I think they're gonna go after another cornerback too. But as far as this season goes, he's definitely earned his spot back on the team next season. And I mean, just think about it. The dude came in during the middle of the preseason. And now look at the way he's playing. I mean, like you said, he's not getting his name called. And that goes for all three of them. McMillan, Fabian Moreau, and Patrick Surtain. I mean, I just still don't think that all three of them, they're not getting enough love just around the league at the way they've been playing because I mean, we're talking about two guys who weren't even starters going into the season with Fabian Moreau and Jaquan McMillan. But yeah, I mean, I definitely think he's earned a spot back here on the team next year.
In terms of the future for that unit and that room, that corner room, I think we're gonna draft someone that's pretty high up there. I wouldn't doubt if one of our first 3 picks are on a corner. I wouldn't doubt it. Get a young stud there with him, match him up with PS2. I think that's the right way to go, especially that this draft class in general, just all of the positions are going to be really good, and there's some really good ones that are going to be available, especially like in the 4th and 3rd round. So I would not doubt it if we get our main corner besides PS2 in the draft.
My God, imagine you draft a top corner in the 1st round. That would be unstoppable with PS2. And by the way, I just got chills looking at Amari Cooper's stat line: 2 catches, 16 yards. Prayers to him with his recovery, but God, PS2 is the best in the world. Like it's just a weekly thing that we say the same.
And the thing is, he was dropping passes too. But I will say, Jordan, to your point though, with the draft coming up, yeah, I think 1st round is gonna definitely be a defensive player. I think it's gonna be either edge or corner. And I'm just I've been looking at the board. I would not mind getting like a Kool-Aid McKinstry or somebody like that just to go right alongside Pat, 2 Bama corners. Yeah, I wouldn't mind it at all. I would love it.
I was going to say that, but if he falls that far, because I'm thinking we're honestly going to be picking like no earlier than like pick 23-ish. Like maybe like pick 22-ish probably, because I don't see really I see maybe the Broncos losing at the very most like 2 more games. The very most. Yeah. That's how much confidence. This was such a let's just recap the show. Like this was such a big statement win. Like I don't know how many times I'm going to talk about it. Like over the best defense in football, over the 3rd best rushing team in football, you hold them to 104 rushing yards. They don't do crap. Vance Joseph, the turnaround has just been unbelievable. Like you said, JMack, people are not talking about the Broncos. They need to start talking about the Broncos. 6-5, 5 in a row. We were the laughing stock of the NFL. I was on here saying, fire everybody, trade everybody, release everybody. Here we are, man. I was one of the haters, and here I am, man. It's crazy, dude.
Yeah, and real quick, I was right alongside with you. But think of the last episode I was on, I talked about I feel like this is a game that I feel like we could shock a lot of people and run up the scoreboard on them. So it was one of those feelings I had that I was like, we might end up scoring a lot of points. This might be a big step for our offense, and it was. Wins like this especially for the offense, is going to give them so much confidence going into a game like next week against Houston. Houston can put up points, but this game gave them all the confidence in the world. And yeah, man, but this turnaround it's ridiculous. And Jordan talking about Sean Payton, he's not getting enough credit in my opinion. If we find a way, and I agree with you. Like I said, going into the Buffalo game that we have to win 6 out of our next 8, and we just find ways to keep winning. If we find a way to I wouldn't even say like if we find a way to win 10 games, even if we do miss the playoffs and winning 10 games, I think Sean Payton has to be coach of the year. To the turnaround that he's had, 1-5 to finish around. Just say we finish with 10 wins, which is very likely. Like the way our schedule is, we can win 4 more games. Man, I think it's gonna be a hard case for him not to win it. Just the Broncos in general deserve more credit. And I remember watching First Take this week, and Stephen A's like, I don't believe in him just yet. And I'm like, man, like what do you have to do? You beat the Bills on the road. You beat Mahomes. You beat the hottest team in the Vikings. And now you got a statement win against Cleveland, who has the best defense in the league. Regardless of what you want to say, you can't say the offense didn't do much. That it was the defense. The offense put up points early. So I don't know, man. The Broncos, they need some more respect, in my opinion, because you don't see teams turn it around like this. You don't see teams start 1-5 and the whole fan base preaching, fire everybody, trade this guy, being sellers at the trade deadline to what we are now, 6-5, and because Buffalo just lost, so we're the 9th seed. We're right behind Houston in the playoff rankings.
Yeah, we're tied with them.
Yes, and if we win next week, and the Colts lose next week, do people not understand that the Broncos are going to be in the playoffs? We're going to be the 7th seed. If we beat Houston next week and the Colts lose, we are in the playoffs. That is ridiculous.
A lot of people would not be happy if Sean Payton won the Coach of the Year. Just a lot of people won't be happy just because of all the things they said about him earlier. But in my opinion, he has to be top 3 right now in the Coach of the Year votes. At least as of right now. I mean, there's a lot of games left, but still, what he's done, he deserves most of the credit for this turnaround. He really does. Just from the game planning to game situational stuff, game management stuff. He shows why a head coach really means something in Denver, because we haven't had one in a while, and he's just proving that it matters a lot.
I think back to, you see during the game so many times, Russ checking at the line of scrimmage, constant, not audibles. Those are things that Sean Payton puts in his game plan on purpose on those plays. So, make those checks at the line of scrimmage, change pass protection, change plays. He purposely goes into plays knowing what the actual play he wants to do, but line up a certain way and change it to throw off the defense and note it and, realize and identify coverages, which gives you an advantage. I'm not kidding. I think when I watch a lot of teams, we are the only team that does that. Like I rarely see any other teams do that. Like I can't say it enough how smart Sean Payton is on a play calling level on the offensive side of the ball. It's remarkable. And even Jordan talks about how he helped change the defense as well. Like he's not even a defensive guy. And the fact that he has taken over roster management as well in his first year with the Broncos, drafting, he's responsible for the free agent class. I've seen people on my Twitter be like, "Oh, do you know what you're talking about? George Payton's the GM, not Sean. Sean Payton's calling the shots. He's the guy, buddy. George Payton, he's the one that hired Nathaniel Hackett and screwed up our 2022 draft. So, of course, Sean Payton's going to come in here and be like, we're going to do shit my way, and this is how it's going to be done if you want to keep your job." You really think George Payton's the one that drafted Riley Moss, traded for Marvin Mims, signed Ben Powers, Mike McGlinchey, brought in all these coaches, brought in Davis Webb? Like, bro, these are not George Payton moves. Sean Payton, the amount of responsibilities he's taken on in his first year after literally being on television for a year, it deserves more credit. So I'm all for it, man. Give me my sign right now for Sean Payton for head coach of the year.
Yeah, I mean, and we're talking, and just think about everything that happened at the beginning of the season. Bro, Dolphins scored 70 points on us. When that happens to a team during the season, the team is like, they're done. Regardless of what point in the season, you get 70 hung on you, you're done. And just Sean Payton is just, and I'm going to just say this real quick. People said it was classless and it was disgusting, and it was uncharacteristic, and all this about what he said about Nathaniel Hackett. I want everybody to go take a look at the Jets and say anything that Sean Payton was wrong. Yeah, the Jets may have beat us, but look at us now, and look at the Jets, and look where they are right now in that offensive play calling. Because it looks like, from what I'm watching, that Aaron Rodgers, he don't even know what Nathaniel Hackett's doing. He's done. He tried to go on the field and call some plays, and he's like, I don't know what his facial expression. I don't know what the hell Nathaniel's calling over there, but I'm going up in the booth because I mean he is. And people want to throw, man, Zach Wilson trash, yeah, but we already knew he was trash. But he's even worse with Nathaniel Hackett, and I just want to put that out there. Get this man coach. If we make the playoffs, or just win 10 games, I think coach of the year, man. First year, like you said, coming off of TV, 1-5, 70 hung on you, and then you beat the Bills. And regardless of how the Bills play, that's still not an easy win in Buffalo. Like with Josh Allen and Stephon, that's not an easy win. The Chiefs, Bills, the Vikings, I mean, primetime games, all that, man, we did it. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, it was weird because I was told that Payton lost the locker room.
And I was going to say, it also looks like, people were saying that Dan Quinn should have been the head coach of this football team.
Well, I mean, that's a whole nother. I mean, that still might be one of the most infuriating things I've heard in a while.
We should have hired Dan Quinn over. Like, people honestly believe, like, people who cover the Broncos actually believe that Dan Quinn should have been hired over Sean Payton. That Dan Quinn was a better suit for this football team than Sean Payton. We would have almost any coach in the league. Our season to be shot, like completely dead in the water. We probably wouldn't even win any of these games that we played, besides maybe today.
I don't care if the Cowboys traded us a first-round pick to take Dan Quinn. I still would have taken Sean Payton,
man,
and traded an extra first-round pick. Like that's where I'm at with that. It's actually kind of funny that people genuinely thought that. Me and JMack, we were on that since the beginning. Jordan was on it as well. So
man, we pounded the table, and it was just like I don't think people in the Denver media understood how big it was going to be if we, like, at the time, if we were to land a Sean Payton and what that would do for the culture of this team. And we're seeing it right now. We just seen it develop. Like, regardless how the seasons ends, like, the turnaround that we've had just speaks volumes and just speaks of how it's not the same. Like, it's not the same here. We're not going to hold our heads down anymore and just, no, none of that is happening. And I'm going to say kudos to him because he's stuck with it. I'm not going to lie. I was calling for Vance Joseph to be gone, and I know that I believe when Jordan says, I feel like Sean Payton put his hands on the defense a little bit, but to stick with Vance Joseph, I don't know if any other team in the league probably would have done that, but I want to just say kudos to Sean Payton for doing it because it's worked out.
Man, like I said, the Browns, you talk about beating all these teams, and if people don't believe in us, say, yeah. I mean, we constantly keep beating the hottest teams in football. Like I said in our game preview, the Browns, besides this game, they've won 5 of their last 6. Like, that's 2 back-to-back weeks that we beat the hottest teams in football. I mean, obviously, we were the hottest team in football coming in today, and we still are. But the Browns, second hottest team in football, beat them. The Vikings were the hottest team in football, beat them. The Chiefs, one of the best offenses in football, beat them. Bills, still, even though they're defensively they're not great, offensively they just gave the Bills the Eagles a run for their money. We beat them. Like, who else? Bring them on. I'm ready for the challenge. And the Broncos are they only have 2 remaining home games for the rest of the 6 games. So it's about to get tough. But I think Sean Payton has his team ready for the challenge. Vance Joseph as well. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. For you guys listening on YouTube, as always, man, celebrate the Broncos dub with hitting the like button, subscribing, helping us get to 2,000 subscribers. Turn on post notifications, and so you guys are always the first to the premiere on YouTube. If you guys are listening on Apple, Spotify, make sure you guys do the same thing over there. All your support is greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. Happy holidays to everybody. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. We're going to be back at you on Tuesday with another episode as well. Be grinding out, getting a little bit more episodes out this upcoming week as the Broncos take on the Houston Texans in one of their toughest matchups yet. JMack will be at the game in NRG Stadium, so he'll be giving us all 3 of us went to games this year, so he'll be giving us his in-person thoughts on the game as well. I know we had some good takes. Honestly, Jordan, when he went to the Dolphins game, even though we got fucking demolished, he brought up about VJ getting ripped ripped into by Sean Payton, and that obviously a lot of people didn't know about that until Jordan brought it up. So that's why you listen to the show. We give you guys a little bit of info that not everybody else is be able to give to you. But with that being said, I'm your host Amir with my co-host JMack and Jordan. So next one, peace.
Peace out.